Matthew 5:4, when we look at the scripture, blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. When we look at the scripture mourn, we can even see Jesus Christ when he was carrying the cross. He said, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, do not cry for me, but cry for you and for yourself and for your children. Mourn is always weeping for something good. When we look at the scripture very clearly, Isaiah 61:3, to appoint unto them that mourn enjoined to give unto them beauty of ashes. First point. The second point in the scripture, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. Third point. When we go further in the scripture, Isaiah 61:3, fourth point, that they might be called the trees of righteousness, planted of the Lord, that he might be glorified. When Israelites were carried from Jerusalem to Babylonian kingdom, all the people mourned because they were in captivity. They were in slavery and bondage. But when we look at the scripture, a test has come for the children of Israel, that they should, without blemish, understanding in science, well versed in the language of Chaldeans. In this test, there are 4 young people who did not take part in the king's meat. We know the scripture very clearly. They requested the princess of Enoch that we will not defile our body for the wine of the king's table, nor even the food of kingdom of Babylon. So they said, give us seed and you test us after a few months of time. When the prince of Enoch saw after some time, they were 10 times brighter than the other children of Israel. And we can see Daniel was established as governor and his friends as assistant governors in the kingdom of Babylon. We can see Daniel was planted in the kingdom of Babylon. That's why scripture, Isaiah 61:3, very clearly says, the planting of the Lord, that he might be glorified. Daniel's glory was the glory of kingdom of Babylon. Even Daniel interpreted the dream of Nebuchadnezzar when he forgot in the night. Likewise, even during time of Persian king, even Daniel was ruling as a governor of Persia, which is compared to as silver, and Babylon is compared to as gold. That's why the scripture very clearly says, if you mourn and if you sorrow, the Lord's eyes will be upon you. When children of Israel were mourning and crying for the slavery and bondage in the Egyptian kingdom, the Lord looked upon them and he sent them a deliverer called Moses. John 16:20 says, verily, verily, I say unto you that he shall weep and lament, but the world shall rejoice. And ye shall be sorrowful, but your sorrow shall be turned into joy. My dear friends, a person who is of sorrow for the whole of his life shall have joy in the kingdom of heaven. A person who mourns on the face of the earth shall have comfortness in the kingdom of heaven. You might be in the ashes mourning, but beauty of ashes always shall be there. When we look at the king of Nineveh, he was in his ashes when Jonah warned him that his kingdom shall be destroyed. My dear members and fellow believers, always remember, you shall be tree of righteousness when you mourn for God, and he shall establish you a beautiful kingdom, and the Lord's comfort with you always will be there. Thank you.